Imagine this. You wake up one morning beside her. She's everything you ever hoped for. Her scent lingers on your sheets, her body curled softly into yours, her voice calling your name like a whisper into your soul. You've done it, she's with you, she's real, and in that moment you feel complete. But something begins to shift. It's subtle at first, a glance that doesn't linger, a laugh that feels a little too forced, a touch that once thrilled. You now feels distant. You sense it, don't you? That quiet space growing between you. That ache in your chest that wonders, where did she go? When you ask her about it, she tells you it's nothing. That you're overthinking. That maybe you're being too sensitive. But you're not imagining this. You're sensing something many are too afraid to name. The emotional gap that opens. When two people stop truly seeing each other. This isn't just about her. This is about what we as humans, and especially as men, are really taught to understand. That love in its purest form isn't always about soul connection. Sometimes it's about roles, expectations, survival instincts, things rooted deeper than words or affection. Philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer tried to explain this. He pulled away the curtain of romantic fantasy and exposed something raw. That human desire is often driven by nature's agenda, not personal devotion. It's not that women don't love. It's that their love, like men's, is shaped by unseen forces, biology, security, survival. Now that can sound cold, even offensive. But if you pause just for a moment and look beyond the discomfort, there's something liberating there. Schopenhauer wasn't condemning women. He was challenging men to wake up, to stop believing love is owed simply because you offer your heart. The truth is, she might not love you for your poetry or your soul or the dreams you carry. She may love the security you offer, your confidence, your ability to make her feel something that connects to her primal needs. And that doesn't make her cruel, it makes her human. The deeper question isn't, does she love me? But, what does love mean to her? Is it about status? Strength? Stability? Is it about how you fit into her vision of life or how she fits into yours? And most of all, who are you without needing her to validate your worth? This is where self-awareness steps in, where Stoicism offers clarity. A Stoic doesn't resent the truth of human nature. He studies it. He learns from it. He grows beyond it. Because only when you stop chasing illusions can you begin to love and be loved from a place of truth. Not fantasy. Romantic love, as we've been taught, is filled with myths, soulmates, destiny, forever. But real love? It's a choice. A practice. A shared path between two people who see each other fully without masked thoughts. So ask yourself, are you clinging to the dream or are you ready to see what's real? Are you willing to love her not for what you wish she'd be, but for who she is? And to love yourself even more, not for what you give, but for who you are when no one is watching. That's not cynicism, that's awakening. And it's where the real love story begins. There's a hidden truth few are willing to face, a psychological and philosophical blind spot that shapes the entire way men love and lose. Why do so many men refuse to see it? Why do they cling to a story that doesn't serve them, even as their hearts break and their self-worth erodes? Because the lie is comforting. And the truth, if we're honest, can be devastating. You were raised to believe love is sacred, that women are naturally nurturing, selfless, emotionally safe, that if you're kind, vulnerable, present, if you give her your heart, she will protect it like something holy. You were taught that love is reciprocal, that what you give, she will return. But for centuries, philosophers have challenged that story. Arthur Schopenhauer stood at the edge of this idealism and shattered it. The man is the one who loves, and the woman is the one who is loved. That single line cuts deep, not because it's cruel, but because it reveals an asymmetry few are prepared to acknowledge. Men often fall in love with the idea of love, with connection, devotion, and the dream of being seen. Women, more often than we're told, fall in love with what a man represents, his direction, his ability to provide, his confidence in the world. That's not manipulation. It's not malice. It's adaptation, what Schopenhauer called nature's cunning. Modern psychology calls evolutionary strategy, a deeply wired instinct toward survival and security. Not because women are deceitful, but because evolution rewards strategy, not sentiment. And when you strip away the fairy tales, you don't find villains or saints. You find pragmatism. She isn't cold. She's adaptive. Her emotions shift in response to security, status, and direction. Her loyalty often reflects not just how she feels, but how stable she perceives her future to be. And when you say she changed, when you say she walked away after you gave everything, what you may really be mourning is this: I mistook biology for destiny. This isn't a condemnation of women. It's a reckoning for men. The suffering comes not from how she behaves, but from how deeply you believed she wouldn't. You thought love alone would be enough. You believed you were chosen for your soul when often it's your utility that opened the door. That may sound harsh, but it's not cruelty, it's clarity. And clarity is what liberates you. Modern evolutionary psychology from thinkers like David Buss confirms it. Women are biologically wired to seek upward mobility in relationships. It's not shallow, it's ancient. And men often suffer because they confuse vulnerability with value. But the truth is, if your sense of worth is built on being chosen, it can be destroyed the moment you are no longer needed. This is where Stoicism enters. The Stoic man doesn't resent the nature of relationships. He accepts it, and in that acceptance, he reclaims himself. He stops asking for love in a form it was never promised. He stops building his life around being enough for her and starts building it around being whole in himself. As Epictetus taught, don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whatever way they happen. Because freedom begins where expectation ends, when you stop performing to be picked, when you stop chasing the fantasy that she will love you unconditionally no matter what. You begin to anchor into something far more powerful: your identity, your direction, your purpose. This isn't about turning your back on women. It's about seeing them clearly, not as angels or enemies, but as human. It's about turning your back on illusion. It's about choosing truth over comfort. And most of all, it's about choosing yourself. Only when you do that can love become real, not a performance, not a projection, but a conscious connection between two people who know who they are and no longer need to be rescued by someone else's affection. And that is where peace begins. Here's the paradox. The moment you stop needing to be loved for your deepest truth, the moment you let go of the fantasy that she sees into your soul, carry your pain, or complete your purpose, is the moment you finally begin to stand like a man. Not broken, not bitter, but rooted, steady, unshakable. Because now you no longer serve the myth. You've stepped outside the illusion. You've seen the emotional mechanics for what they are, not betrayal, but biology. And in that seeing, you are free, but freedom has a cost. The moment you understand feminine nature, as thinkers like Schopenhauer tried to articulate, you begin to feel the shift. The smile that once lit your world suddenly looks different. Not false, but functional, not insincere, but survival-based. And from that moment forward, the veil begins to lift. Now you see. And once you see, you can't go back. You can't unsee the ways you once tried to earn love through sacrifice. You can't unhear the justifications you told yourself when you were ignored, dismissed, or replaced. You can't forget what it felt like to pour yourself out hoping she would see you, when in reality she was scanning for security, not soul. It hurts, and it should hurt. Because this isn't about women. This is about awakening. This is about waking up from the most seductive lie nature ever told, that your worth as a man depends on being chosen. That if you do enough, give enough, soften enough, you'll be loved enough. But now you don't beg to be chosen. You stop living for approval. You no longer build your identity around being loved. You start becoming the kind of man who walks into a room not to prove himself, but because he already knows who he is. You become the man who loves with awareness, not blindness. Who leads without the need for applause. Who hurts, yes, but who never collapses under the weight of that pain. This is where Stoicism and Schopenhauer converge, not in despair, but in clarity. You can love women, you can connect with them. You can even admire their brilliance, their beauty, their power. But you will never again confuse love with salvation. You won't seek rescue in their arms. You won't hand over your purpose in exchange for attention, because this is the kind of freedom most don't talk about. A freedom that doesn't reject love but reclaims it. A freedom that isn't cold but conscious. And once you taste that freedom, you stop chasing shadows. You stop chasing her smile. You start mastering your own mind. Let the ache you feel now, that raw, sobering pain, become your forge. Let it sharpen you. Let it cleanse you. Let it become the fire that melts away every illusion, and if something inside you just woke up, if your heart cracked open, but for the first time in years, you feel alive, leave a comment below with the words, "I see now," not for approval, not for attention, but as a commitment to yourself, a line in the sand. Subscribe if you're ready to unlearn the myths modern life feeds you. Not to reject women, but to stop rejecting your own truth, because this isn't about hate. It's about healing, and once you see clearly, they may not understand you, but they will never forget you.